Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money P. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7 weeks. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique the Prima go way back. Tapping, smiling, making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique the Prima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. The show is called First Things First. And my very first thing today and every day is giving thanks and giving praises and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders. And let's move forward. Let's go. We got a lot to unpack, a lot to talk about, a lot to debate. So, you know what today is? No, it's not our anniversary. It's Talking Point Tuesday. Talking Point Tuesday is when we try to get back behind the BS and dissect and understand it so that we can be very clear about what we're saying, who we're representing when we say it, and what it does when we utter those words. So we try to weave that into everything we do on a Tuesday. Typically, hour one, we look local. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we take a deep dive with a person of interest, a hot topic, and many times it's both of those together. And we're on point and on subject today. We will be talking in hour two. Pastor Q joins me to help us analyze what's going on around the world. Pastor Q, Stephen John Maui, who is an activist here and a pastor in Los Angeles. Hour three, I'll be joined by my colleague, Adrian Shropsteyer, a very astute political mind, as we look at the role of progressives in the world and on the left coast right now, ahead of the Left Coast Forum. You heard Tavis talking about it. It is coming up the 25th of October, and I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a great day of fellowship. There's all these plenary sessions, panel discussions, and food and fun. So it'll just be a day to network, to learn, to give your input, all of those things. And that camaraderie and collective vibration is so needed right now. So it's free. You don't have to come out your pocket, but you do have to register. So go to KBLA1580.com, KBLA1580.com and sign up. So we save a space for you and make sure that there's a plate for you when you arrive. Okay. So Adrian Shropshire joining me. And of course, right now it's me, you, and the microphone, telephone, whatever you got going on. I want to say happy heavenly birthday to Ezel Ford. a young man whose life was stolen by LAPD, not far from here, actually, in South Los Angeles. And a young person, one of those people, police kill a lot of people in this country, a lot, over 1,000 every year. And sadly, it's going up rather than down since 2020. But many of those stories are never told. There are only a few that kind of break through the national consciousness. Michael Brown, um, Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, say their names. There are a few that break through and somehow people pay attention to them on the national stage. Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice, only a few. And then there are those ones that stay with us. And as a talk radio host, an opinion sayer, and news teller, some really haunt me. And Ezell Ford was one of those, maybe because he's so close to where we work and play, maybe because he was another young man who was different, who had mental health challenges, and who was murdered in spite of the fact that folks in the neighborhood knew him. Even law enforcement knew him and should have known better. So happy heavenly birthday to Ezell Ford, and lots of love going out to his family, who have been so relentless and determined in telling his story and getting whatever part of justice they can get. The Tritobia Ford, which is the mother of Ezell Ford, was on my show long ago, and she was one of many families that told me how they were never notified. The police killed her child, and they still, I mean, I haven't talked to her like that in a while, but last time I checked, they still hadn't notified her. It's been years. And those are the stories that wrench my heart. They hadn't notified her. Also, they didn't offer any kind of help to the family. Counseling. Ezell had little siblings and cousins that were very traumatized by the stealing of his life. There was no counseling offered, no assistance with the burial, nothing. And so, happy heavenly birthday to Ezell Ford. More reason to celebrate, as I understand. The governor did, while he was busy stomping reparations into the mud, he did sign Wakiesha's law, which is a law that will now become the rules here in California, which says law enforcement has to notify the families of people who are incarcerated in California prisons and jails when they are killed. And I think it's 48 hours. I have to check back. That's a bill from Isaac Bryan, Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, and it is definitely a victory. It's a huge deal. It's something that Black Lives Matter Grassroots, BLM California, BLM Grassroots LA have been working on, along with the family of Wakiesha Wilson. Lisa and Miss Sheila have been working on for ever since Wakiesha Wilson had her life stolen inside of the LAPD metropolitan lockup here in Los Angeles. So that's a reason to smile and a reason to have some joy this morning in knowing that even though Wakiesha's life won't come back, that the families will not have to deal with the agonizing process of trying to figure out what happened to their loved ones. In the case of Miss Lisa, who is Wakiesha's mom, being given a number. So, you can find out where your daughter is here, being given a number by the sheriff's department, or I think it was the LAPD, I'm not sure which. She called, and it was the county coroner. That's how she learned what her daughter's fate was. So my prayer is that now that we have Wakiesha's law, that won't happen to more families. They won't be at a loss trying to figure out where their loved one is. Now, this is for people who are in custody, so it won't affect people that are just killed on the street like Ezell Ford. Seems like it should be common sense. We kill your loved one, we let you know. That seems like the least that law enforcement could do. And when we talk about building trust between law enforcement and community, that seems like it would be a basic step. Tell us when you killed our loved one, maybe offer some counseling, some assistance with the burial since you are the cause of their death. To me, those are the things that would make a difference more than having panel discussions or coffee with cops. Actual concrete steps that show we do value your life. Black life actually does matter. 800-920-1580. That's the number to call if you want to weigh in. We are going to look at what happened. And I guess Jasmine Canick and I answered yesterday's question because the governor signed and vetoed a bunch of stuff last night. So apparently last night was the deadline. And we'll talk about what that means for reparations when we come forward. You're invited in at 800-920-1580. In case you haven't gotten out of bed yet, it is raining outside in LA on this left coast. The rain is coming down. So get ready to bring your umbrella or get wet. Let's talk about it, whatever it is. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, aka the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer. Let's go!
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Their ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Right now, I'm so glad you're here, and I will love to hear from you at 800-920-1580, or you can hop into our conversation in the comments on YouTube. It's youtube.com and then KBLA 1580, where our delegation is always in fellowship and very, very outspoken. So I love that. Now, Jasmine Canick and I yesterday were talking about the fact that the governor signed SB 518, creating a bureau, not an agency, as some reparationists had hoped, but a bureau to deal with reparations, to handle whatever programs, whatever policies, maybe, hopefully, money comes through. And Jasmine made a great point, which is that if the governor planned to sign the other reparations bills, he probably would have done it already. He probably would have made a show of it. And if he was passionate about reparations, he would have done it the minute it hit his desk. It would have been a priority for him. Well, apparently, Ms. Canick was correct, because last night, the governor took out his veto pen and got busy stomping reparations into the mud. And the worst part of it for me is that he vetoed the bills we were hoping he would pass and passed the bill we were hoping he would veto. It also sheds light on what happened last summer when the California Legislative Black Caucus did not send bills to the governor's desk. We were very angry about it. Some of Bradford's bills to create an agency. He vetoed the eminent domain bill, and he never saw the agency bill nor the bill that would have created a mechanism for money for dealing with cash reparations. What do I mean by that? This sheds light. Well, we know that Governor Gavin Newsom wanted Stephen Bradford, then Senator Stephen Bradford, to amend his bill to add this study by the universities, which would go on indefinitely and could be used to delay every other piece of reparations, because the governor or other lawmakers could say, well, we can't give out cash until the study is done. We can't give a leg up for education or professional licenses or home buying until the study is done. Study, even though we already had a task force that worked for 2 years, that did plenty of studying, and that released an 1,100-page report detailing everything they found. Well, no, the governor wanted more study, and he wanted it out of the agency or bureau and over in the university system, where it can drag on forever and ever. And that's what Senator Bradford said no to. No, I don't want that amendment on my bill. We're not doing that. Now, the only reparations bill that the governor has signed is the two. One, to create a bureau, not an agency, but that bureau would be inside the Office of Civil Rights. And for me, that's a good thing. It is a tangible result of the work of the task force, of the work of activists and community-based organizations. It is a tangible result that could allow for all kinds of other things to happen under a different governor. But everything else got vetoed except for his study. So the bill that is basically the legislation version of the amendment he tried to put on Bradford's bill is the only bill that he signed. And what it does is it's going to give money to universities to study criteria for who's eligible for reparations. What is the exact formula of lineage? I feel like, and many reparations activists feel like, the task force already defined this quite well, and any further refinement could be done within the confines of a bureau, which could just as easily hire a university, just like the LA Commission did. The governor feels differently. He signed that into law. As far as I know, there's no sunset clause, so that study can go on for another 100 years before anything happens. Now, it's true that we could try to push for refinement of that bill after the fact, add a sunset or whatever. But my point is that the governor's intentions become crystal clear. He tried to get this amendment on the Bradford bill. Now it's the only thing he signs besides the creation of the Bureau itself. All the reparationists who didn't support AB 7, I hope you're happy. I'm not, because this is something that would have given descendants of chattel slavery an opportunity to get into the universities, an enhanced opportunity to get into California universities. Well, that's really important for a number of reasons. And the governor says in his veto message that it's not necessary because California colleges can already do that. I call BS. No, they cannot. Okay, we'll say you say the governor probably knows more about the law than some talk radio host. Okay, maybe he does. Well, so show me how they can do it. Because as I understand it, unless it is specifically laid out to address an actual harm, or in the case of a lineage formula, unless it is specifically allocated to a group based on lineage, i.e., our descendancy from the victims of chattel slavery, it is illegal in the state of California because of Proposition 209. It would be considered affirmative action, which is illegal. What's your workaround for that, Gov? I don't see it. Maybe I'm just dumb, but I'm sure I'm not the only one. So can you spell it out for us, please, Mr. Governor? So, oh, we don't need that. He can do it. They can do it anyway. As far as I know, the answer to that is no, they can't, which means that's a big prevarication. But AB 7, he vetoed it. Sacramento Bee quotes Assemblymember Isaac Bryan as saying it's beyond disappointing. The governor says, I encourage the institutions referenced in this bill to review and determine how, when, and if this type of preference can be adopted. It's in the sentence. You said preference. Preferences are illegal in California. You would have had to blaze a new trail for reparation. Not only that, those institutions ain't doing that. And you know that, Gavin Newsom, because you're the one that's pressuring them not to sign the president's pledge of fealty. You're the one that's saying you're going to strip them of money if they go along with the conservative agenda of Donald Trump. What in the MAGA world would make them decide to, on their own, ponder reparations when you vetoed it in this environment? In this environment where they're being punished and stripped of tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars for DEI, let alone reparations. Are you kidding me? He thinks we're dumb. That's the only thing I can think of. Or else he's so much smarter than me that he's found a way forward and I just don't see it. And most scholars don't see it so. Show us the way. Oh, brilliant one. Show us the way. So he signed the university study. So that $6 million that was designated for reparations is now going to go to study. We have had so many studies, but now we got another one. Guess what you get? A check? No. Preference and licenses, state licenses, Mr. Governor? No, not that. Oh, you're going to let our kids into these institutions of higher learning where they've been shut out for centuries. No, not that either. Geez, are we going to get help buying land? No, that's not it. Black people, that ain't it. Get our land back that y'all stole? Could it be that? Through racially motivated eminent domain? Oh, that's it. That must be it, Mr. Governor. No, that ain't it. For Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, New Year's, and the foreseeable future, I'm giving you a study. A study? But I already have a study. Here's another study. Can I eat the study? No, it's not edible. Can I live in the study? No, I don't think so. Is the study going to give me back my generational wealth? I think not. It's a study. You'll learn things. You'll know who's eligible to get repair. You'll find out what our secret formula is to unlock the repair and the removal of the harms and badges of enslavement and Jim Crow. It's a study. You shouldn't be so ungrateful. I gave you a bureau with nothing in it, nothing for it to do, and a study. Thanks, Mr. Governor. We got a temporary senator and a study. Wow, you did make good on your word. And I'm an idiot. 800-920-1580. That's the number to call if you would like to do so. We can talk about this. We can talk about other stuff. Charles Green says in the comments over here on YouTube, it's stalling. Yeah, it's peak stalling. That's what we said. Stalling that could go on and on and on and on and on. And already has. But still I rise, y'all. We're not giving up. Next opportunity to get a thing signed, there will be a different governor. More on that after news, traffic, and sports, only on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James coming out swinging during a campaign speech for Zohran Mamdani. While she didn't mention President Donald Trump, she is pushing back against claims of mortgage fraud. Here's part of her speech.
And I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up.
Happening now, government shutdown. The Trump administration is laying off thousands of government workers. Meanwhile, Democrats are pushing for better health care for Americans. It comes as Marjorie Taylor Greene, yes, MTG, has broken with her party and is also pushing for health care. And in music news, Rod Wave is ready to hit the road after he took a little break for mental health. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers got a marvelous pitching performance from Blake Snell in Game 1 of the National League Championship Series and then survived a dramatic ninth inning to hold on for a 2-1 win over Milwaukee. Snell was on the mound for 8 shutout innings. He had 10 strikeouts, allowed only 1 hit, and picked off a base runner. Snell is 3-0 in the postseason with a 0.86 earned run average. Reliever Blake Trenton struck out Bryce Terrain to get out of a bases-loaded jam in the bottom of the ninth. Game 2 is tonight in Milwaukee. First pitch at 5 o'clock. The largest attendance over the weekend for an HBCU football game was 44,000. That was the turnout for Jackson State's homecoming game. Jackson State, ranked number 13 in this week's NCAA Division I AA poll, defeated Alabama State 38-34. Next game for Jackson State is Saturday, October 25th in Las Vegas against Grambling. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Hello, KBLA listeners. This is Dr. Paul Wallace. I want to discuss a type of eczema called atopic dermatitis, which is often misdiagnosed in Black children and adults. Atopic dermatitis is an autoimmune disorder that can be accompanied by food allergies, hay fever, and asthma. This rash targets the inner arms, behind the knees, and face, but can go all over the body. It causes excessive dryness and 24/7 itching. It's the scratching and steroid use that leads to permanent scarring. I'm enrolling patients in a new clinical research study focused on better treatment options for atopic dermatitis. Of course, your medication and travel reimbursements are provided. To see if you qualify, visit dermstudies.com or call us at 323-296-0048. That's 323-296-0048. There's nothing worse than itching. Let's take the next step in controlling this problem.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
Hey, KBLA 1580 delegation, your health matters to us. We know that information is power, especially when it comes to prevention and treatment. That's why we're proud to introduce the brand new KBLA Health and Wellness Hub. This online space is built just for you, connecting our community to trusted health resources, culturally relevant care, and even access to diverse clinical trials and emerging therapies. Whether you're looking for information on common conditions, mental health support, or just want to stay on top of your wellness journey, we got you. And the best part, it's all on our website at KBLA1580.com. Accessible, empowering, community focused. So just go to KBLA1580.com and click on the Health and Wellness Hub icon, because knowledge is power and your health is everything. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
You know, I don't know if you realize how much I do appreciate you waking up with us. First things first, it's early. And I know folks are on the way to work. You got to get things done. Got to get ready. So I appreciate you being here. Or even if you're just chilling, if you just have the day off, or you're retired, or you're just independently wealthy. I appreciate you waking up with us, and hope you'll tap in on social media at KBLA 1580 on all platforms. Follow, like, subscribe, maybe join me at DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio in like, follow, and subscribe, especially my YouTube channel. Oh, more people are starting to follow my YouTube channel. I appreciate that. And yeah, and of course, you're always invited to call at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Looking forward to talking with Pastor Q next hour, Stephen Jamawi. And the hour after that, Adrian Shropshire. We got smart people in the building today, and they're coming into the studio. So that makes it even more fun. Let's go to Ron calling us from Richmond, California in the Yay area. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Yeah, man, there's been a lot going on. Got to give a shout out to my mom. First of all, good morning to you. Good morning to the whole KBLA Talk 1580 crew. Big shout out to my man Miles holding it down for you. Got to give a shout out to my mom. She had a little surgery a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, shout
doing
out to
better.
Mom.
Appreciate that. Yeah, she's doing better, just taking it one day at a time. So big ups to moms. 84 years young. She's been through a lot these past few years, man, but God is good. She's still here, still standing. So, you know what I'm saying? Much love to her. Shout out to my big brother. I miss him. His birthday just passed on the 11th. Would have been 62. Big James and his wife, man, rest in peace. Yeah, man, that's my road dog right there. And I think I told you, yeah, he was a diehard Niner fan. So man, I just miss him getting all hyped up when his Niners be scoring. He was like a fanatic. Yeah, him and my late dad. So big up to James. Shout out to all his kids, to his grandkids, and all that good stuff. Always in my heart.
Okay. With the shout outs, I feel like I'm transporting back to my old job at the Beat where we used to do shout outs. But what's on your mind this morning, Ron?
Oh man, what's going on with Trump, Mr. Orange? Your boy, I read something that said Jimmy Kimmel wants to have him as a guest on his late night show.
Well, why not? I mean, I didn't read about that. I could be, but why not? I mean, I'd have him on here if he'd come. Oh, that would be
I would
that would be quite a show.
I have my popcorn ready to see that for real.
I mean, he is the president of the United States. Who wouldn't have him on the show? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. Big ups to Jane Kennedy. You had an icon on there yesterday. I was like, ooh wee. They're taking me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
That was cool. I enjoyed that interview.
Yeah,
Real
her
cool,
book,
real
I mean, her book is, really interesting. She's very candid. I got to give her props. She's telling it. So.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I remember watching her on TV back in the day. I would love to see you have Thelma on your show one day, maybe.
Okay.
Good time.
You're funny.
Shout out to Thelma. Oh, and my boy. I watch too much TV. And happy birthday to my man, one of my favorite shows of all time. My man that played Lamont Sanford. He just turned 79, I think, yesterday.
Bernadette Stannis was Thelma.
But Thelma, I follow her on the gram.
These actors, they have names. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not good with names, my bad. But yeah, shout out. And I just know Thelma. So shout out to Thelma one time. And then happy birthday, like I said. Yeah, to let's see. How do you say his name? Dude from Sanford and Son. Is it Damon or Demon or something? I know his last name is Wilson. Last name Wilson, something like that.
Damon Wilson. Yeah, I think it's Damon. Damon Wilson.
Damon Wilson.
But enough shout outs. We're done with shout outs, Ron. You turning my show into a whole shout out farm. But I love Sanford and Son. That was a great show. One of the classics. So far ahead of its time in so many ways. I'm glad you're up with us, and I'm glad you're doing all right, Ron.
Yeah, hey, I appreciate you, Dominique. You know, a lot of times I don't call in, but I be looking at you on my TV and on my phone. I'm just proud of you. You're making history. You already know the Bay Area will always hold you down. And you'll always have my support. And big up to Miles. Hey, Miles, man, what you think about that versus coming up with Cash Money Records and No Limit?
That's funny. I think, man, Cash Money taking over for 9/9/2000, man. Shout out No Limit, but I got Cash Money all the way, man. Money's on Cash Money.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. All this time, I thought Master P was from the Bay because he, pretty much started his record company. He started his record company, No Limit, out of Richmond. He was getting his hustle on back in the day. I didn't know that until I, Then I started hearing all the New Orleans.
As Dirty South.
Yeah, I mean, he came and got his sauce from the Bay for sure, and started pumping out some mixtapes like he did in the South, the same way the Bay kind of does it. I know he has record store as well, I believe, but no, he's always been Noya for life.
I mean, his energy though is giving Dirty South all day. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, Ron. Nice
all
talking to you.
I'm gonna stop yapping. I'm gonna stop yapping, y'all. Thank you, Dominique, for taking my calls. I appreciate y'all. God bless. Salute to Tabitha Smiley, and y'all keep doing your thing down there.
We will. Thank you. You keep doing your thing. Boy, one thing about Ron from Richmond, he gonna track rappers and artists from back in the day all the time.
Shout out the homies, man. He gonna shout the homies out.
I'm not mad at that. But, however, having started out on R&B and hip hop and R&B radio, right? Or this is before your time, Miles, but shouting out people was something people did all day long on the radio. Yeah. So,
it was a big thing to hear your name get shouted out by somebody on the radio, man. Like I used to call in and get people to shout out, man. Give my homeboy, they listening right now on the bus. Oh, we heard you shout us out on the radio. Like, yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't before your time. You were just a little kid. But the thing about it is, now maybe because of social media, it's not as big of a deal to be shouted out. So maybe we've moved on from shout outs. I don't know. Maybe not. Not today. Not today we haven't. So they're saying this is an atmospheric river that we're up against, which that's one of those names they made up a couple of years ago, but it just means there's going to be a lot of rain, really a lot of rain, like 4 inches in the mountains and foothills. And it's going to go at least through tomorrow. So, wow, brace yourself, be ready. They said rare and very potent storm system is moving in. We could see thunderstorms, hail, mudslides, gusty wind. I know for those of you that are part of our delegation in Chicago and other places east, that's not breaking news. But for us, it is. And not just because we're wimps, but because our terrain is not used to that. We can have extreme reactions like whole hills sliding down into the middle of the street and stuff. So be careful, take it slow, give yourself some extra time. It is on. The Weather Service says if outdoors, consider seeking shelter inside a building. Yeah, I'm sure the unhoused will love that advice. But if you can, do it. It's about to be, I mean, it's already, but it's about to be a lot more intense.
The Weather Service government?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. And that is, we shall see how long that holds up. Because that's one of the things that they were talking about cutting funding for. Part of the Project 2025 plan is cut money for Weather Service. So you can figure it out. Oh, look, the hill's coming down. I guess there must be mudslides. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. Some of these bills, I'm looking at all the bills the governor signed and didn't sign. Some of them I haven't been tracking at all. So I'm going to have to do a whole bunch of reading to figure out what the heck they are, because he signed a lot of things. But one piece that is what I would call good news, encouraging, something to celebrate, is another bill by Assembly Member Isaac Bryan around pay for incarcerated firefighters. We'll talk about that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Donald Trump has all but declared war on California, sending in a National Guard, blocking disaster relief, and cutting funds to our colleges. And now, he and Texas Republicans are trying to rig the next election by stealing congressional seats from black voters in states like Texas.
They want to rig these elections, and they want the power that gerrymandering provides.
Seriously, look it up. But Prop 50 is how we fight back. It gives Californians the power to fight fire with fire and beat Trump at his own game. Prop 50 creates temporary emergency congressional maps that level the playing field and protect the power of Black votes. Not just in California, but across the country. Your vote matters, and the whole country is counting on California to lead. So use your vote to protect our power, our history, and our future. Vote yes on Prop 50 by November 4th. Ad paid for by Yes on 50, the Election Rigging Response Act, Governor Newsom's Ballot Measure Committee, Ad Committee's top funders, HMP for Prop 50, and Fund for Policy Reform.
JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewdd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and we're glad you're here. And as I said, there's a whole stack of bills on the governor's desk. I, of course, have been tracking the reparations ones more than others. But there's some other spots of good news, as the governor's, as I said, vetoed a bunch of reparations bills that we were hoping for, passed one we were hoping he would not sign, and passed one that I was glad he did sign. But for the most part, he has shown us that his plan for reparations is kick the can down the road indefinitely. He has signed a bill by Assembly Member Isaac Bryan, AB 247, which will drastically raise the amount of wages paid to incarcerated firefighters. I think the will is there, the political will is there after the terrible fires in Altadena and Pacific Palisades. And this will give them, take them from $5 or $10 a day, which is what they were being paid, to risk their lives during the Altadena fire and the Palisades fire, to Assembly Bill 247, which could raise their pay up to $725 an hour if they're working on an active fire line, and gives them at least, they're not guaranteed that wage, but they would get a better wage. And I think this is great news. I hope you agree. The fact that these are mostly Black and Latino incarcerated people who are working jobs to save free Californians' lives, risking their actual lives. I've been up to the fire camp. I've talked with them. This idea that they're back in the distance doing something that's safe and supervised is just not true. They're up there digging actual fire lines. They're risking their lives, and it makes sense that they would be paid. It makes sense that they would, and when you're incarcerated and you make money is taken out. If you owe any restitution, there's fees that are taken out. So many times the person, the worker, is left with little or nothing. And by raising this wage, at least they'll be able to help rebuild their lives and make some progress while they're incarcerated, that there is a reward for risking your life like that. And hopefully it takes a step towards them having more rights as workers. I have been a proponent of ending slavery inside prison anyway, right? For all workers, not just firefighters. To me, if you're going to have someone working for you in the state of California, you need to pay the California minimum wage. Businesses don't like it because they say it's too expensive. We can't afford it. Well, if you can't afford it, you need a different business model. If your business model relies on slave labor, it's not a good business model. You need a different paradigm. That's just what it is. People need to be paid. Slavery should be illegal in all parts of the country. And least of all, California should be at the front of that movement, but we haven't been. We've failed 3 times. But this getting signed into law is a good it's a good start. It's a good start. It'll make it more possible for them to move into the workforce when they come out of prison, which is important. That's one of the things that stops the recidivism. It stops people from being in that revolving door, the prison revolving door, which, whether you like it or don't, whether you are a Californian who thinks people should stay in jail forever or someone who's more of an abolitionist, we are paying for that. When someone goes to prison and they're not rehabilitated and they're not job trained and they're going back in and out and in and out and in and out, that's costing you money. So even if you're not a humanitarian who cares about rehabilitating people's lives, you should at least be watching your pocket. So congratulations to Assemblymember Bryan. Congratulations to the governor for signing that. And this is a big step in the right direction. It does recognize the work in a real way of those incarcerated persons who are risking their lives for the safety of other Californians. And we saw how important that was in these last emergencies that we suffered here in California. This was supported by the California Coalition for Women Prisoners, the California Innocence Coalition, the League of Women Voters. And who was opposed to it? The California State Sheriff's Association, which seems weird to me. But you know why it seems weird? I think it seems weird because I would think that the sheriffs would want these incarcerated persons to be able to rehabilitate their lives and have some pride in their work, to be able to move on and become productive members of society. But apparently, nope. But this is a win. This is definitely a victory. And it's something that the governor has signed that we can commend him for. I commend him for signing 518. It's just a slap in the face to me, to the reparations movement, that you signed 518. And then after saying last time that the reason you didn't support Bradford's bill to expedite the return of land taken through racially motivated eminent domain, you couldn't do it because there was no agency or bureau. Now you created the agency and you're still not doing it. So we find out that other excuse was pure BS, which we already kind of knew. And I think it's a slap in the face for him to create an agency and then take the money that was set aside, or at least a good portion of it and send it over to the universities rather than that agency. Send it over to the universities to do a study that can drag on indefinitely because it has no sunset, and which can delay the implementation of reparations, particularly cash reparations, for forever, conceivably. That's a slap in the face, I think. And the fact that he was on a podcast bragging about how he stood up this agency, bragging about how he's the one that signed Assemblymember Shirley Weber's bill, then Assemblymember Shirley Weber's bill, to create the California Reparations Task Force, which already did a huge study, which is published at 1,100 pages, which has inspired other cities and states to follow suit. He's bragging about that on a podcast on last week. This week, he's vetoing all of these bills and saying, yes, I'll give you the agency. Okay, here, there's evidence that there was a task force, evidence that there was a movement, but I will not give you any projects for that agency to do. Won't let them establish the details of the rules around who's eligible. I'm going to give that to the universities and give them money, which is what he wanted to do last summer. Going to shut down the return of lands taken through racially motivated eminent domain, shut down Sade El-Awari's bill calling for priority for descendants of chattel slavery for state licenses, shut down AB 7, which would have opened the doors to that educational reparatory action, right? We're going to talk about the badges of Jim Crow. Higher education is one of the most rampant homes for such badges. Shut that down. Isaac Bryan's bill, AB 7. But look, you got a bureau. And look, you got what? Another study. Looking forward to the conversation with Pastor Q when we come forward. And of course, you're always invited in. I'm Dominique DePrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Tammy Eswick with BIN News Now. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James coming out swinging during a campaign speech for Zohran Mamdani. While she didn't mention President Donald Trump, she is pushing back against claims of mortgage fraud. Here's part of her speech.
And I will not bow.